Hello, I'm Casper and this is the first episode of a hard career for science and profit. Starting a new career with the preset of hard and then changing some of the settings to give a custom feel. Once at the Space Center, the first building we need to go into is the mission control to get the contract to launch our first vessel and to start gathering science. First vessel is nothing complicated, however I like to add on the girder segments to act as sort of landing support. We're going to be using the xScience checklist to gather the science. Jeb does a cheeky jump here to get an additional EVA report while flying low. For gathered science, we'll unlock the first two research nodes. However, in hard, I also have to purchase the IP rights. For the second launch, I've been contracted to test the M16 parachute and the Hammer solid fuel booster. Jeb has entrusted Bob to carry out this mission, launching from the runway, and this will allow me to get additional science. As we already carried out one of the mystery gurus while flying in the previous launch, the checklist shows a blue bar, and once we've completed it all, it will go green like the top two. So Bob resets the goo canisters and then launches. After landing, I unlock the survivability node and purchase the IP rights for the press mat barometer and the two additional parachutes. Contracts continue to guide our launch vehicles, with the third launch testing the bumper solid fuel booster and the Mark II radial mount parachute. Once again rotating the cruise, Valentina is in the pilot seat today, and she's already well accustomed to collecting the science where it's available. For the next launch, we need to haul up a radial mount drogue chute and the Mark 16 parachute, and I opt to use the liquid swivel engine so that we have control over the speed that we're flying through the air at. Bill was instructed to lean the craft over towards the sea to allow him to gather some new science, but Jeb isn't too sure that he should have been trusted with this mission, as after cutting the throttle he loses control and the craft goes into a spin. After regaining control, he completes the contracts and then lands successfully. profit from these launches, and the prize money from the world first records gave me the money to purchase the next level of the mission control building, which in turn allows me to have more active contracts, allowing Launch 5 to haul up a hammer booster, flea booster, a stack decoupler, swivel engine, the command pod, test one of the MRS jet engines, and lastly report over a particular area in Kerbin. The advances allow me to purchase the rocket parts required to carry out these high altitude contracts. Prior to the launch of this vessel, I used the crash simulation mod to ensure that the parameters of each contract could be met within the constraints of the VAB and the launch pad. As you can see towards the end of this flight, the vessel doesn't have enough fuel to actually confirm if it will make it to the observation point or not. And luckily I'm able to use the aerodynamics of the game to just coast over towards it. The grey windows on the bottom right of the screen here are a mod called Ship Manifest, and one of its many features is allowing me to transfer the science reports from the science experience outside the craft, allowing the repeatable experiments to continue working. Once again, the next launch will have an array of parts to be tested and hauled, and again it's also high altitude. This vessel, the Pioneer 6X, is again tested by the crash simulation mod to ensure that it would meet the contractual parameters. As you may have noticed before the launch of the vessel, there was a decoupler and a Terrier engine off to the right. And now this was so that I could test it on the launch pad and then decouple it before the vessel was launched, so that it wasn't dead weight. As with the previous launch, once the high altitude contracts were complete, I thrusted towards the observational point and then glided in hope that I would reach it. At this point, there was a load of missions suitable for planes, most notably the observational studies. Using the tracking station as a map, I accepted the observational study missions as a flight plan towards the island airfield. After just 2 launches and the advances from these contracts, I had enough money to upgrade the astronauts complex, allowing me to replace those all-important EVA flags. The money also allowed for me to go and unlock the aviation node and buy all the parts immediately. This plane is my go-to plane at the very beginning of the game, using the very basic parts obviously. This time, however, I've added on the MRS jet engine just to see how powerful it was compared with the Juno engine. And the only reason I did this was because I had the extra node points so that I could add on the M16 parachute for the contract. The basic wheels on this craft are a risky venture for all airplanes, as they lack the suspension required to cushion even a small landing. Now I'm not a pilot, but I'm just comparing these basic wheels to the later ones in the game, and they just seem like they break at a moment's notice. Luckily, in the flights for this video, I did not explode, and I believe that's because I was being more careful, as I cannot revert the flight or quick save and quick load. Now that Jeb has planted his flag on the island airfield, he needs to return home, and what better way to do that than accept some more contracts and get him to earn some more money for us. Please join me next time when we continue our quest for science and profit.